Hey out there, welcome to Dark Loops Productions, Westworld Season 4. I have the extreme honor of podcasting this Season 4 with none other, Sistah Jay, Sistah Kay, and Sistah Aye from Sistah Speak Productions. I'm absolutely thrilled. By the way, I'm Dr. Scott Jordan, aka Zombie Scotty, cognitive psychologist, philosopher from Illinois State University. How about I have my fabulous colleagues here introduce themselves and tell me a little something about why you love Westworld. Then we'll start with Sistah Jay.
Okay, I'm Sistah Jay, one of the Sistah Speak co-founder people. And my claim to fame, though, is I'm retired. And I love Westworld because I am a science fiction geek. I'm a original Trekkie. And I love the futuristic feel of it. I like the fact that I like the whole mythology of the pearls and how the pearls dominate everything. And I think this season it's going to be better. That's enough. Okay.
Unless you're Dolores and you just like put yourself in everybody.
Right.
All right. How about you, Sistah Kay?
I'm Sistah Kay, aka Kelsey, and I am one of the other co-founders and hosts of Sistah Speak Productions series of podcasts. I loved Westworld from episode 1 because I like science fiction, and I just love the mystery of this world of not knowing. That first season was fantastic, of not knowing who was a host, who was real, what was actually going on, because at first we had no clue. And I really like how they've evolved several of the characters, and I'm excited to see what happens this season.
Fantastic. And how about you, Sistah Aye?
Hey, everybody. I'm Sistah Aye of Sistah Speak Productions, a co-host as well. I am loving Westworld also from the beginning, and I like it because it messes with my head, and it makes me think, and it makes me want to know more, and I love to watch it unfold, and have been excited to have this season come back. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it for the same reason. And I'm going to tell you, I loved this first episode, that I felt like it was the same people in a different time. Right. And I thought, well, I just felt, okay, they thought about this a lot. They did a lot of hard work, and I look forward to seeing what they do with it. So what we do here on Dark Loops is a favorite line, favorite scene, favorite character. Pick one of those and go from there. So the floor is open. Who'd like to start the conversation?
Well, I'll go
theory
first.
Go ahead.
I'll go first because the reason my favorite character is
You're not
Maeve.
going to tell me you didn't like it, are you?
No, but my favorite character is Maeve. However, my favorite scene was William, aka the Man in Black, because he dead. So he is Dolores in William, because William was killed by his little robot self at the end of season 3. So I'm real intrigued as to, okay, so Dolores put her pearl in William, the Man in Black, and the Man in Black is looking for the encryption key. So I'm intrigued with, okay, since Dolores put her pearl in there, don't she know where the encryption key is? That just blew my mind.
That is, if your assumption is correct, that it's Dolores.
Correct.
That's true. But I
have my doubts.
That just blew my mind, though. I thought, what?
I was so glad to see him back. He's just, first of all, Ed Harris. Character. How can you not love Ed Harris? And you know, one thing I was
easily,
what's the word? I want to use the right word. I don't want to use the word excited, but thrilled. I just love the fact that this man comes out as who he is, puts on a black suit and looks badass. You know, I just loved it when people walk into themselves and just put it out there, and he's still a badass.
Yes. Well, and I like the fact that they didn't change him either. Because, like I say, depending upon what happened at the end of season 3, and then to see him in the beginning, they didn't change him like he's softer somehow or you know, something. No.
No redemption arc for him.
None.
What cracks me up about him is he looks irritated in every scene he's in. Like every time someone talks to him, he's like, "Oh, I gotta do a preschool. Just do what I'm telling you to do. Come on,
Exactly.
man."
Just shut up and do it.
But I mean, the Man in Black in real life was mean and like didn't care because he thought himself so above everyone else.
But William was so jaded, though. By the time William became the Man in Black, from season 1 all the way to season 3, he was so jaded by then.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing that's the one
know.
thing that I was a little confused about though in the season 1 to 3 is I don't know if they showed me enough to make me believe that was like all of that happened made him into this Man in Black now.
Yeah, that one bad love relationship turned him into
that's all it took for you to turn evil? Like
no,
really?
No, I don't think so. I think it happened
something else that I missed then.
I think it happened though. It happened when William was running away from the little bad Hector and his group with Dolores. And he was falling in love with Dolores, and his buddy kept on telling him, yeah, but that's a machine. But he didn't see her that way, even though intellectually he knew she was a robot, but emotionally that didn't click for him. And when his friend really, in my opinion, he really mentally snapped in that scene when Dolores's whole little innards was showing. And he was just like, it was like he just realized she is one of these robots.
Yeah.
That's what
he also got all the good beat out of him, right? I mean,
he did.
Because in the world outside of Westworld, right? He was a good guy trying to make his way in sociopathic corporate culture and kept getting made fun of. And then he said, well, the only way I'm going to get through this is to be the opposite of who I am. And
if you recall, his wife's father helped beat him down too.
Yeah, no,
emotionally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, his buddy there. Yes.
Yeah. Because
that's
he
the guy
corrupt him.
Right. He worked for the wife's father, and he was always kind of belittled and put down, or at least that's what I got. That he felt like he was always belittled and put down, even though he was the brains of that operation. That was all his ideas and stuff, if you recall. So,
there's a certain element of the corporate world that if you're already a sociopath, you fit right in, right? But if you got to work at it, then you become, a little worse. And what I really dug about the end of the episode is they had a scene with him and he said, I think you've forgotten your mission. Our job is to kill them all, which is the humans, which is Dolores being the Man in Black killing humans versus the Man in Black killing robots, right? Well, I just thought that was very groovy. He's still the same guy. He's just got the opposite enemy now.
Right. But I think some people will get off track because, or at least from what I've read, like online and stuff, people are forgetting that with Westworld, in every single season, we have at least 3 timelines going. Yeah. At least 3.
That's true.
So in this first episode, I think there's different timelines. Caleb and Maeve are way on a different timeline than the Man in Black.
That would make more sense.
And Christina.
Than them all being the same time.
Yeah, it is not parallel.
Okay, so I got to tell you what I experienced it as parallel. I experienced it and it fit for me because they were all talking about like 7 years after the war, right?
Yeah. It felt like Christina wasn't. She wasn't. No, that comment came from Maeve and it came with Caleb. Mm-hmm. Oh, and can I just point out, I do not like the wife for Caleb. They don't have no chemistry. He got more chemistry with the little baby girl that's playing his daughter than the woman who's playing the wife.
I couldn't
So-
get past his hair.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
one of the
Terrible.
Well, I
Hey, what are
couldn't
you
get
beating
past
up on
the
a man's
wife
hair
because
for?
they
Yeah,
just
he had a bit
didn't
of a
click
do.
to me.
well, the thing is, they were selling him as a PTSD guy,
Yeah.
and they were trying to sell her as a wife who's had it with the PTSD. Now, that's a real phenomenon. That
Mhm.
does
But
happen.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
No.
true. However,
So-
but I did not believe her. I did
Yeah.
not believe what she was saying to him. First of all, knowing that her husband has has PTSD, and then I did not believe her comment once Maeve made it there, and she sees
Oh.
that Caleb has to go, and she says, "Oh, I guess it really was true."
Well,
What?
maybe she's one of those B-level players that that Dolores is writing.
Yeah,
these
Dolores
days.
made up.
Oh,
Right,
you
I
know
mean-
what? That's true.
Those background
thinking
characters.
I will say I do agree on the actress that they have playing his wife. I did not really think she was the right fit
No,
for that, or she just didn't seem to.
they didn't
Have
have
the
any
right
chemistry to me.
She didn't seem to have the right reactions to things, or the reactions I thought she would have, or the way she acted in the scene. And I agree. I don't think they had a lot of chemistry. But I mean, the point is, she's supposed to be this, stereotypical wife that's tired of his mental antics or whatever she thinks that they are. She doesn't quite believe it, or she's like, "Oh, I'm tired of dealing with it." And I don't like that storyline. I've never liked that storyline when they've had it in these shows, because to
Mhm.
me, if you wouldn't do that. You would try to support
Exactly.
your spouse through whatever they're going through, and you wouldn't be so dismissive about it. And all of that talk about our daughter is 7. She doesn't need to be going through well, obviously he's trying to prepare her for whatever and
Right.
teach her.
Yeah.
Why would you thwart that? I mean, that's just something that's been done before. So that's the one part of
Right.
this episode that I was just like, we can do without the wife. But
I think.
I knew she had to be
Go
there
ahead.
for a reason.
I think her lines are actually an info dump, and what's nice about that is she could be an info dump for a game. That's
Yeah.
That's true.
That would be
I like-
hilarious.
I like Sistah Kay's word, though. I think that sums up the whole thing. She's dismissive.
Mm.
That's what I felt. Yeah. And I didn't like it either. Yeah. I didn't like it.
Well, I will tell you, I watched a talk on victimology by one of my sociologist friends a while back. 70% of guys who persistently complain about their suffering are simply left. So there is a phenomenon out there in the world that just continues to breed sociopathy in our culture, and we'll leave it at that. But what about that little girl, though? I thought she was one of the best little
Yeah.
actresses
She
I've
was
seen in a while.
adorable.
Yes.
Very cute.
But she
Yes.
was believable, though, for her to be such a young child.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
very believable. Mhm.
So for me, Maeve, I don't know. I instantly believed Maeve. I instantly believed it had been 7 years. I instantly
Yes.
believed, because she hadn't done any changes. You knew it was her Pearl, right? And all her lines were just as badass. Hello, darling. They're just all as
Mhm.
badass as they were in season 1.
Mhm.
And I wonder if, in the end, there could be 3 pearls or 4 pearls, and that's all that's left of humanity, right? And we're just watching these games with a few
Oh.
pearls playing.
Of the main characters, I think Maeve is the only one that has her own pearl. All the other
Yeah.
characters are Dolores's pearl.
Dolores ripoffs.
Well, remember,
Yeah,
Charlotte
yeah.
had 5 of them in her bag
Yes.
when she
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
But that was Dolores in Charlotte. So
Right.
Dolores
They
had
weren't all
5 other
Dolores.
pearls.
They weren't all Dolores pearls at that
Right.
point. But
Right.
Oh,
but-
okay.
Bernard. That's no, I don't remember.
Yeah, what? No, Bernard's was the different color one. All of them are gray, that gray
Yeah.
color.
He's the one
except
with the
Bernard's-
sparkles.
Well, his was kind of red and gray. Yeah,
I
little
miss Bernard.
sparkles.
That was one thing I
do
missed
too.
Oh.
in this opening
He's got to be
episode.
coming back.
I
don't
know.
you think?
He's the senator they're going to see.
Okay, I was wondering
Okay,
who
at
it was
the
going to
end,
be. So
That's my
Okay.
guess.
that's a good shout.
Because you know,
We'll
Oh,
see.
that
Bernard
would
would have
be
gotten into
good.
politics.
Yeah.
He wants to help everybody.
Yeah.
So,
I love Bernard.
you know, he wants to
Yeah.
help everyone.
Me too.
So that'll be, yeah. So-
Bernard has been my favorite, and Maeve have been my favorite from Jump Street.
Yeah.
I like
I
Bernard.
love them.
Yeah.
Bernard, though, he is just
His whole arc, his whole everything. Like,
But I
Yeah.
We're
like
along with him,
Clementine
you know?
too, though. And I think she's coming back, and so is Stubbs. He's coming back too.
Stuff. I love
Stubbs.
it. Yes, they have the great thing about this show is we're going to be, if they play it all out, we're going to be guessing all the way to
Oh,
episode
Yeah.
7
yeah.
or 8.
I hope we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And they
That's
might,
what I
don't know
like.
if they're going to resolve it for us anymore. I mean, they might just leave us guessing.
Yeah.
Well,
Because how, you know, when does the story stop?
but okay. When we left, all the people were finding out how they've been manipulated.
Yep.
Remember, and everybody's information was coming to them.
And they
That's when the
lost their
war
mind.
happened. Right. And so Caleb and Maeve fought together to get humanity out of that. Okay. Now, when Caleb was up on that high rise with the other construction worker,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking, and the other construction worker pointed out how, yes, now they're doing all the jobs that the robots used to do because there aren't any
Mhm.
more of them.
Right.
That's that 7 years after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Maeve and Caleb are in the same timeline, obviously, since they meet up later.
Right.
And Dolores, I'm not resistant to the fact that she could be in their same timeline too, because obviously,
be.
you know, when she lost all of her memory, or Christine,
Yep.
whatever her name is now,
Christina,
yeah, Chrissy, as her roommate calls her.
another Chrissy.
I know. Not the same. Don't forget. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they're in the same timeline too, because we know that all of her memories got wiped. Obviously, though, there's some residual stuff in there
Yes. Yes.
because when
Damn.
she's at work, which I love her office area. I love that. I was like, oh, my
Those
office
cubicles are so cool.
cool, weren't
Yes.
they?
No privacy.
It's like, well, you don't have privacy now, really.
No. Just a short
No.
wall doesn't help.
Yeah, but at
No.
least it's a wall. You know, it's not open.
Clear.
Obviously, she's got some residual memories because she's writing stories that were like her loop back in Westworld.
Yeah.
And her boss is like, no, that's too sweet and saccharine. No. We need to do something more devious.
You
Yeah.
know,
I feel like she's
I think-
waking up again like the original Dolores. Like we saw her realizing and remembering and
Well.
becoming more aware.
there is a scene where the guy's who's been calling her, right?
Yeah.
And he says, you did this to us, you're doing this to us, and then he ends up jumping off the building.
Yeah.
At the very first scene where she's talking to her boss, he says to her, hey, why don't you write, what was that last story you did? Well,
Yeah.
a guy who loses everything, stalks a girl for a while, and then goes. And then she goes, what happened? Everybody dies.
Yeah.
He's living a story that she wrote, right?
Yes.
So maybe I know what, I'm totally hip to the idea that she's writing a happy ending for all of these characters. I'm fine if that's how they end the season. I'm the show. I'm fine. But
what you just said triggered me to think. So what if, what her boss was saying in that story that she wrote that he loved, then came to happen. So maybe her timeline's all mismatched up.
I think her timeline is before. She's obviously, as she's walking to work, she's obviously in a park. Just like Westworld was in that park. They have different parks, like Shogun World, this world, that world.
Right.
I think she's in a park. However, in my opinion, I think her timeline is before even season 1 of Westworld.
Whoa.
That's
Oh,
what
you
I think.
So.
I think she's
Because I was thinking
probably.
maybe she's like a narrative apprentice, a narrative intern working
I
for
think that
Westworld.
company that what's it called, Olympiad or something with the O.
Olympia, something.
Okay.
I think that either is parallel with when William was developing Westworld or before.
That would be really interesting, but
That
I'm not
would.
sure.
That's how they're
And the
going to bring
reason I
Anthony
say that-
Hopkins back into the series.
Well,
Yeah.
but the reason
Yeah.
I say that, and that is because there was so much emphasis on playing the video game and playing the people playing the video game. And when she
I like
was
this.
doing that monologue out on the balcony where they showed the little Delos symbol
Yeah.
and everything,
Yeah.
they had this song on that was the video game lady song, and I can't think of what that singer's name is, but anyway.
Oh, it's called.
So I was thinking, wait. I think maybe, even though I think by the scenery and stuff, it looked like she was in a park, like with all the other people. Oh, and another thing. Oh, I just remembered this. As she's walking to work, wait a minute, because this the clincher for you. Okay, as she's
There
walking
you
to
go.
work,
Clinch it.
she passes 2 guys, and the one guy says to the other guy, "I can't believe you've never been here before."
Yes.
And
I do
the
remember
other,
that.
the one is saying, "Oh, wow, this is such a neat place." And the guy said, "Oh, wait, I can't believe you've never been before. Oh, just wait till you see all this." They're in a
he did
park.
say that.
They're in a park, just like at Westworld when they were in the different locations. The timeline part is what is throwing me.
Yeah.
And especially at the end, when we see Teddy, everybody's
Yes.
like, "Oh, Teddy and her going to get
Wouldn't
together." I
it
don't
would
think
just
so.
be fantastic if they were
No,
actually
but I don't
lovers
think so. Teddy wasn't
pre-Westworld.
smiling. No.
Yes.
That may not be the Teddy we know. Teddy wasn't smiling.
I don't think anybody's the person we know.
No, that's
He
true.
was-
But
well,
that's
I don't know.
That's a really good theory, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Because then that would make the first scene with the man in black make sense. Like, this is when he was purchasing the land and
Absolutely.
all of the data stores. Although he did say it's been stolen from me, so that part kind of negates
And
that.
it
but-
was like 8 years ago, right?
Right.
He said
Right. was 8
so that
years
kinda
ago.
negates that
But
part
I
of it.
think
But maybe-
Charlotte and Maeve may have done something, or Dolores as Charlotte may have put it there. You know what I mean? Because Caleb destroyed that Rehoboam or whatever, that big
Yeah.
old round thing, and he blew all of it up.
Right.
That doesn't
So-
mean there weren't any
But
off-site servers or anything.
Well, that's
those
true.
were
no,
servers
I think
that
that. Go ahead.
Did
No,
you
I think
notice there
that,
was also a maze at the dam,
Yes.
right? So they
Yes.
they showed that as well. I don't know what that means for timelines or anything
Well,
like that, but
And if you go back and look at that scene, there's also a split. You remember when in Westworld there was a split, and that's where Maeve was trying to get her and her daughter to go through with those Native Americans so they could live in
the sublime yes.
life or whatever. There was a split up that dam. As the man in black was looking way over there, there was
See,
a little
I saw
split.
him looking through all the servers and stuff, and then I just thought I saw dam water
waterfall.
running down
on the
or the
outside.
waterfall. That's what I saw.
Yeah, Jay, we know you're talking about the outside, but we're talking
the
about
outside.
inside the
Oh,
server
okay.
room. But yeah, that's a good point, because inside the server room at the very back, there was like waterfall.
There was a waterfall.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I thought could have been.
So I get the
interesting.
impression that the man in black and Maeve and Caleb are in the same timeline.
I think so
Because-
too.
Because Maeve
Yeah.
says, he's back. We got to go get him.
Yes.
But I love this idea of not knowing what time
Me
and place
too. Me too.
Dolores
Yes.
is in. I think
It is
that's
confusing
really
though.
but that's what makes it that's
No,
why
it-
we're
Right.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Opens up
But
Yeah.
possibilities.
had I not went back and paid attention to that little guy as she passed going to work,
Yeah.
I would have been lost. But then I thought, wait. They're in a park, just like
Mm.
Westworld
Well, then
and
that
stuff.
would mean the guy who'd been calling her was a host.
No,
Because-
the guy who was calling her was one of those people like William was when William first went to Westworld and he wanted to be immersed. Remember?
I mean, it could be, this whole place could be like a beta version of Westworld.
Yep,
right? Just
could be.
trying out the technology, building a
Yeah.
regular city.
Yeah,
And
could be.
so I quickly want to talk about Chrissy because she has this fantastic conversation with this stooge at dinner where she says, what do you do? And I took pictures, but I'll just read them. I said, he says, what do you do? And she goes, oh, I work for this entertainment. I write stories. And she goes, what? He goes, well, I write background characters. They're not as much as the leads. And he goes, well, most players just think those people as cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm not doing it for the players. I'm doing it for myself. And then he says, real life can be disappointing. Not that it's so bad, just that there should be more to it. I love a line like that, right?
Yes.
They worked at it, she acted it. And then he says, maybe you just haven't met the right man yet. And then he takes it upon himself to put his hand. I mean,
Puts his hand on her. Yeah.
that dude's got to be a host.
No, dude.
Yeah, I think it's a host. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says, she pulls her hand back, and then typical guy style, he says, you sound depressed. There's tabs for that. And she goes, that'll fix you right up. She goes, what if I'm not the one that's broken? What if it's the world that needs fixing? He goes, they got tabs for that
It's
too.
a tab for that. Yeah.
Now, when
Yeah.
he
That
said
conversation.
Yes.
But when he said that, that's the first inkling in my mind that maybe he was a host. Because before I thought it was just some guy, but his conversation
I think
to me
him talking
just seemed
about-
too programmed to me.
And him talking about drugs as a way to have a virtual experience is kind of pre-Westworld.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That makes
people are doing
sense.
drugs to get that thing. And then they're in this what? No, I like this beta model of Westworld.
Yeah.
I just
Maybe
love
that
the
is.
idea
It's a
of
great
Dolores being a
idea.
narrative writer.
Yeah. This would be
think
fantastic.
That's just
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's a good idea.
I like
come
that
to think
idea.
of it.
Yeah, me
Good
too.
idea too.
Mhm.
Another thing I like.
Well, that was your idea, Sister Jay. You're the
Yes,
one that's
Sister
put the
Jay.
timelines.
Well, but I'm just saying, simply because of several clues and stuff.
I like it. Yep.
Several
The other thing I
clues and
liked
stuff.
about Christine when she wakes up, I'm like, how do I get the zip
One of
up
these
sheets?
Murphy
So
beds.
you don't have to make your bed. You just
No,
zip
yeah,
it.
she just zipped
And
it
then
up.
she-
Wasn't that cool?
Yeah, that was cool. Then she just went boop, and it just lifts up, and
I
your bed's
loved that.
made, and you don't gotta.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
they could be totally playing us because by having her repeat that daily cycle,
Yes.
it looks like they're trying to tell us she's a host.
Yeah.
But
Just
she
like
could
Dolores
also
was.
just be
Exactly.
a bored person who's in a
Right.
rut. And
Yeah.
just so I love the way they're finding ways to reverse, our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the fact that the man in black is out to kill all the humans as opposed to all the
Right.
robots. Right. I just think that's
I
very
really
right.
think
bad is bad.
okay. In my mind, anyway, until they show me otherwise, I think the character Christina is human. I don't think she's a host because, in my mind, I think it's her timelines before. So I think she's a human.
I kind of think Teddy is too. I do think we
I
have
think-
kind of a love story going on there. And,
I think Teddy
and,
might be human too. And then somebody on Facebook mentioned that they thought maybe Teddy or the person we've come to know as Teddy was a younger what's his name? Hopkins character.
Oh.
Forge.
No.
Ford.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's what somebody said. Wait a minute, but I didn't even think about it. And I thought, wait a minute.
Well, they don't look too much alike, but it's
No,
an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But that would
I thought that
explain
was
why he
interesting.
doesn't look like a forlorn lover looking up at her.
No, he
looks
was
like
not.
someone who's slightly stalking her.
And he
right?
was
Yeah.
also
Or protecting.
well, he was
Yeah,
also
yeah,
the one
protecting.
who got that dude off of her. And then she
Yes.
looked around
Yes.
and
Yes, he
everybody was gone.
Mhm.
And did you see before
Yeah.
she could actually look, one of those cars came.
Uh-huh.
One of
Gone.
those electronic cars
No, they're in
came.
a park. No,
They're in a park.
And I love
They're in
the
the park,
idea of
y'all.
Teddy's. Man, see, this is a great thing about
not
good
the
writing. Man. They lay
farmhouse.
down 3
Yeah.
years and then they start writing stories about their own stories. If he's a young
Yes.
Ford, that's brilliant, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
that's
that
would
be
be cool.
awesome? Wouldn't that be
Yes.
awesome?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it'd be a good
Kinda,
reason to bring
except-
Anthony Hopkins back. Go
I
ahead.
would love for
Yes.
them to do that. I would love
Yeah.
to
I'd
have
love to
Ford
see him
back.
again.
He's so great.
Mhm.
But I mean, if that was a young Teddy, then the evolution of what Westworld and Dolores came to be would be really sick.
No, it wouldn't, because she's being told.
Yes.
No. I'm telling you why.
In a
And
good way.
that's because she's being constantly told on her job, quit writing that sweet syrupy stuff.
No,
I need some more gritty stuff.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if that is the younger Ford, and then he eventually turns into the Ford we know in the first season, who has created all this world, helped create this world.
Uh-huh.
The fact that he's modeled one of the hosts into Dolores and allowing her to have all of that stuff done to her as a host, even though it's a host,
Mhm.
is kind of twisted.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Right.
I mean, the whole place is kind of twisted. And you're
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
I mean, and I do love the
The whole
idea of all
place.
these people they knew before showing up in Westworld in certain ways. Gosh, we figured out the whole show. We got it all figured
I
out.
don't think so.
No.
I gotta tell you, one thing I did like about, I just liked, I'm gonna say, the lack of action. In other words, there was action, right? There was the Man in Black scene, there was the Maeve scene.
Maeve, yeah.
Right.
I just liked the way they took their time and let actors act and
Yes.
let lines come out. The music wasn't imposing.
No.
I just felt like someone really took their time to do some good work, and
Mhm.
it was nice to see.
Well, did you guys? Now, I didn't notice this until I saw something online, and then I went back and looked at it. But did you
Yeah.
notice also the man, the general, whatever?
Yeah.
I can't think of what his
The
name
general,
is.
yes.
The general who
Colonel.
was after Maeve
Mhm.
was the same guy who was after Maeve in Westworld. That army
Yeah.
guy,
Yes.
same guy, same
Okay.
character.
Love it.
And
And
he
see,
didn't
I-
No, I
even know
have to-
his name.
I
He was like,
know.
who's that?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she said
That's the
Colonel
thing.
something or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
They're
So I
having
thought
too
that
much
was
fun.
good too. So I
Yeah.
thought, that's a host. Mm-hmm.
No, I love it. They're just having. I mean, at this point in Maeve's current timeline, everybody's a host, right? Everybody that we know. I mean, none of them are biological, right? And I love the fact that we still care. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in the world of artificial intelligence, it's always been this idea that eventually you can put your soul into a digital thing, and
Exactly.
so that's what they're trying to do.
Well, but
It's interesting
Caleb's
if
not
they
a
do it to
host,
the point-
though.
Do you think in her timeline, everybody, I feel like
No.
in her timeline, everybody is human.
Yeah,
Not
Caleb's
everybody,
not a
obviously.
host.
Not
Caleb's
No,
everybody.
wait a
human.
minute, because at the end,
But
no,
if
at the
she's in a
end,
park.
someone.
Maeve.
No, on Chrissy,
Maeve,
no,
sorry.
in Chrissy's timeline, if that's a different timeline, people are still people. Maybe there may be some hosts in the park, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about in Maeve's timeline, all the characters we know,
Are
are all
human.
hosts. Maeve's a host. Caleb, the issue of Caleb being a host,
Caleb's
someone
not
has
a
a
host,
flashback,
though.
but someone had a flashback of him getting shot.
His whole stomach was open, basically. Or
Yeah, but
injured.
And so
She could. Maeve got skills. I mean, she could fix
Yeah.
him up, though. It's
whether or not
question.
he's a host
She
is
can
going to
fix
be
him
the
if he's a
host.
host. She can't fix him if he's human.
Yeah, she.
So
can.
he
All
might
she
be a
gotta do is
host.
Put
That
a
may-
chip in there.
Well, that's the thing. We may not care anymore if anyone's a host,
But
right?
wait a minute, I'm
I
thinking
mean,
back.
that's-
Wait. I'm thinking back to when Dolores was when Caleb kind of saved Dolores and helped her and kind of nursed her back to health. And then she's the one that showed him how his whole life had been run by that
Yeah.
the
Hold on.
Italian dude
Hold
and the
on.
big old
Yeah.
black ball. Okay. There was no indication that he was a host. He was human,
No,
just
I'm
like
not
all the
saying
other
that.
Yeah,
people.
not then. But after he got
I'm just
shot
saying,
up.
somewhere in those 7 years,
You think?
it looked to me like he may have died. Look,
What I want to ask y'all about in that very first scene is what were the the first set of scenes with the purchase and the man in black and that guy who was the owner of the company or whatever, the liaison in that nice house or that side,
cartel. He was the cartel.
Yeah, cartel. Thank you. What the hell was up with the flies?
I
thought I was watching the remake of
Glitches.
The Candyman.
I know, but it was freaking. First of all, I had to watch it like this because it was freaking me out.
No,
I didn't know where they were going to come out of next.
What was with the
Those
flies?
are robot flies.
Those were robotic flies that could manipulate that, or probably get up in his brain and manipulate him.
That's some pretty sick mess. They showed a coming scene where guy's in a car and a fly just walks into his eye. So obviously these things just go in and oh man, that's horror. That's not that's straight up body horror.
But I mean, if something like that was the cool thing about season 1 is that they don't know, the host wouldn't notice a fly on their face.
No, of course
they don't. Right.
So if the person has a fly going in their eye and they're not like trying to get it off, that means they're not aware that it's there.
Well, a human being, a fly wouldn't even get on your eye because you'd be, soon as it was close, you'd be batting it away anyway.
But that was the cool thing about season 1 is because at the very end of that first episode, when she swats that fly on her, you're like, oh shit, she notices the fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because the scene starts. The scene starts where the fly is crawling all over her face and everything, and then Bernard wakes her up and says, "Okay, come online." Remember? So that's
you know what happened to me. I started watching the episode, and I'll be damned if she's not out west. And then she goes on to the porch and talks to her dad. And I must have watched 10 minutes. I said, wait a minute, this is episode 1, season 1.
I did the exact same thing. I was in 17
because you have to fast forward through the scenes and go to 4. And I
said, it Westworld in my butt.
I said, they're going
I was
way
watching
back.
a narrative about a narrative there.
I did the same thing.
Oh, how funny.
But that's pretty badass if you can get me watching the same thing, thinking, oh, this is something new about something old.
I was like, wait a second. Lord. That's funny.
They got me.
Oh, that's so funny.
So one thing that's going to be really fun to figure out is how if the robot human war actually happened, right? And it's not a story someone's writing, but if it actually happened, or even if it's a story, how it played out, right? Because who won? What does it mean to win? So I look forward to how they play that out, because all they showed us was a revolution in one town at the end.
True.
Right? City's on fire,
that's
and
true.
It's like, well, okay, there's like 99 times, there's millions and million times more of us than that here. So I'll just play out all over the world.
And now that you mention it, though, when Caleb and Maeve, or actually when Dolores was explaining and showing everything to Caleb about that Rehoboam ball, didn't they point out that was just one? That there was at least another one somewhere?
I don't think so.
I'll have to go back and look.
I got the impression that they had all their eggs in that one basket.
In that one place.
Yeah, that's the impression I got, because
it's gone. The whole thing's gone. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the Man in Black and Maeve and them are on the same timeline, simply because of the way the data was stored in that dam. You know what I mean? Like it was just rows and rows and rows, but it was like the place that they destroyed. However, except this was more, it seemed to me more organized and vaster. I mean, it was bigger. So, and then
what do you think? What do you think his plan is?
Well, William said he knows where the encryption key is.
Right.
Which is
he going to let
one of
them
those
out?
datas, but he doesn't know exactly the key. You see what I'm saying? That's what he said to the cartel dude.
Which is in
But,
Bernard.
what's he want to do? Does he want to let them all out and have them kill humans and
I don't
create a
know.
robot?
Yeah, are
army,
they
or-
coming out?
We don't
Yeah.
know yet.
See, to me, that was the ultimate question from last season when we found out, or was it the season before, that they were really tracking all of the guests that
Humans,
came.
yeah.
All the guests.
Yes.
They weren't trying, they were trying to get information on these guests, I guess, so they could situate key people in key places.
Mm-hmm.
But what were they planning to do with all of that data?
I have an answer for that, because
Take
the
over the
point
world, man.
of, if you recall, Delos, the whole point of that experiment, and Westworld was supposed to be like just the Western part of the world, not those other worlds that they built. And I think they built all those other worlds to get more people and more data. But the whole point was to be able to transfer human consciousness into the host. So you would actually know that you're Sistah Kay and would still act accordingly and be Sistah Kay, but you'd have a host body. That was their ultimate goal.
Now that was Ford and Arnold's thing. They wanted to create consciousness. That's been the AI dream.
That was
forever.
Delos.
Right.
That was Delos, Daddy Delos's thing too. He's the one
Well,
that
he
helped
wanted to
finance
be
William.
immortal.
Yeah,
Right,
immortal.
well,
right.
but
He wanted to be immortal.
But
The thing is, I think
he and
last
other
year
people
with
did
Rehoboam,
too.
well,
I mean,
last year with Rehoboam, what they were trying to do was basically make money by controlling people's lives.
yes,
Right.
Predicting
They-
behaviors.
yes.
Right.
And then constraining their lives in ways that, the guy that created, remember, Paris got nuked when he was a kid. And so
Exactly.
he couldn't
Yeah.
trust humankind. So he tried to control everything so they wouldn't do it again. So maybe in that case, it wasn't money as much as it was
Survival.
Typical desire to control.
Well, but part of it was still money, because what that particular man wanted was, he was like any other egomaniac. He wanted power and control. When he could no longer control his brother, because his brother was the genius, but his brother also had some mental illness with that genius, which some geniuses do. Then what he do? He encased him and others who were also geniuses in a box.
In a box.
In
so
a
we
box.
can cut that unpredictability out of the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Keep
it
everything
wasn't,
ordered.
yeah. So he was about power and control, just like a lot of people in our living reality are like that too. They want power and control. They don't really, they're not concerned about the consequences immediately or the consequences 10 years down the road. They just want the power now. See, so
now in psychology, we diagnose that as antisocial personality disorder, right? A reckless disregard for the welfare of others.
Everybody.
And we'll see how they do it in Westworld. I don't know if you guys watch The Boys at all, but
yes.
in The Boys, what they do is create privatized superheroes. So the altruism that's usually part of a superhero is completely ripped out of what a superhero is. It's basically corporate greed. Yes. And what that allows those authors to do is then look at the infrastructure that keeps that greed alive, right? So you can almost diagnose a system as antisocial personality disorder versus
And I just want to add that Giancarlo Esposito is playing the part of that corporate greed perfectly. Unfeeling greed. I love it.
So is that season 3?
4. No, 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, I haven't started watching season 3 yet. I need to, but
it's great.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do with. I mean, the Westworld right now has been about the individual consciousness of these individual characters, and then how they can create these sociopathic systems that only rich people can get in and do what they want. Well, I'm just wondering, it'll be interesting to see what story they think they have left to tell, right? What's left to examine. Because I like this idea, and this is going to sound weird, but I like this idea of all of it ending up as a happy story in a little snowball, snow, what do you call it? Things you shake. Snow
it's
globe,
not going
right?
to. It's not going to. And I'll tell you why. And that's because, as you pointed out, in Westworld, only people who had the resources, meaning money to pay, would go to Westworld, whether it's Shogun World, whatever the world it was. However, they thought they were just on vacation and having an experience, like a virtual reality experience. However, but they had no idea whatsoever that they were the guinea pig, and the host was just gathering data from them. Now, when and if the general public ever finds out that that's the real deal, all bets are off, I think.
They already know.
No, everybody doesn't know. Everybody does not know.
That's what
so that means the war was not successful, right? Because that was the part of the war, was to tell everybody that, you know, and then I think at the end they actually had Rohirrim tell everybody. There was that scene in the subway where they pressed a button and everybody suddenly saw that their lives were being controlled.
That expelling of all that data.
Yeah,
maybe they didn't come out and say it's because of what we found out from all y'all, but they didn't have all those people.
That's true.
In Westworld, they had a lot of the rich ones, but then they also had this other but I can't even say the word.
Rehoboam.
It's
got a little obum, extra obum in there.
Yeah.
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam. Exactly.
But that Rehoboam, that thing was cataloging all the people in the everyday world.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then the hosts were cataloging all the people at Westworld.
Yeah.
No.
And then all that data was merged up. I guess all that data was merged up, but I thought the whole point that Dolores was trying to make was trying to get rid of that data and let people know, hey, this is what they're doing.
You're right.
And they're controlling you by this data that they have, by telling you can't do this and do that because of this and this and this. But they're doing that to control you. And I thought that's why that releasing of data let them know that's what they were doing. But
you're right. I remember that now.
Maybe I'm just
no.
You're right.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I think they've got to. I think they got to come up with a new kind of character, because if they're going to make this argument about free will, well, we all know that all of our choices are compromised because we live in a real world, right? We got to walk through the mud of the world to get what we want. We can call it free if we want, but we have an attorney in the crew here. And if you're at a trial, both sides are going to bring all the data they can to try to explain why the person did it or why they didn't do it. The world,
that's the way it's supposed to work, but it don't always work that way in our real world.
No, I mean, I know.
That's
what
the only
I'm saying
comment I'll make.
He's trying to say.
The free will question is a little too simple, because our will, we can't choose to do anything we want. I can't choose for this arm to be on this side of my body. So all choice is constrained. So I want to see a character that doesn't care. Right, knows. I mean, Maeve is maybe that character who knows that she's an
the man
android.
in black.
I love
is
the
that
character.
The man in black is that character. He don't care.
I think he totally. I mean, I think
he
he's totally
his own
either
for a real daughter.
Well,
now,
he's
he
either
didn't know
totally
that was
anti-robot
real daughter,
or anti-human. He's caught up in that whole synthetic, non-synthetic rage. And what he doesn't get now is that he's on the other side of it because he's Dolores. But he's always caught in that rage. Maeve is just alive. I love the scene where they're getting into the car, or where he's talking, she and Maeve and Caleb are talking, and he goes, if something happened to my daughter, you have no idea. And she goes, oh, but I do, darling.
I have every idea.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Now we could call those synthetic memories, but they don't matter. She feels it, and I love the fact that she doesn't care about those categories. And I don't know. I wish they'd play with that a little more, just to push the questions a little bit. Otherwise, they're just going to end up with it's all something someone wrote. So anyway, we'll see what they do with it.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this was just episode 1. So, they can't, they focus on Christina, AKA Dolores, but, we'll have to see where that goes. I think even the scenes with Maeve and how she had to take the men out and stuff, that was just done really quickly. It seems to me.
Oh, I love the scene where she drags the body into the garage. It's just got to get out of the way. It's just got to get out of the way. Move on.
Y'all know when I'm watching this that I am fussing and a cussing because my first thing is, why aren't y'all watching this, baby girl? And she going,
I know.
Across the street.
Don't go outside.
Across the street, and what are y'all doing?
Right.
Down in the basement or wherever the hell y'all was.
I'm like, ain't there no door alarm or chime or something to let you know she done open the door?
Good thing he was taking out the trash.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They're downstairs arguing about his PTSD.
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, her trying to suddenly put the bear in her hand and close the window with the bear. I watched that 2 or 3 times. And what? Just get your hand out there and close it down.
Yeah.
Of course, they needed her to drop the bear.
Yeah.
Showing the bear what's going on.
That was totally believable because that was just like a kid. But what really irked me was how she was able to get all the way outside by herself and nobody heard a daggum thing.
Yeah.
Well, kids are pretty devious, man. I mean, they can get what they want.
No. They ain't getting out of my house without me knowing it.
They know how to sneak. I mean, it happens every day. There's kids that wander the streets and it's because they done ran out the house. Yeah. Parents were in the bathroom real quick or something and they done got out. So it happens. But it is, you are like, okay.
I was side-eyeing big. Rolling my eyes. I think
I will say the one thing I'm intrigued about with Maeve is that the fact that when we first see her, she's having nightmares or she's reminiscing on those memories from before with her daughter and what happened. So obviously she does have those memories from however she got them, however she's always had them, and how I just really want them to kind of play up in this season a little bit more the differences between her awakening in the first seasons and Dolores's awakening, because it was different. And that's one thing I really was intrigued by when the show first started. Like,
now that you say that, if it turns out that like Dolores's timeline is going to actually show us everybody who we ultimately saw as a host in season 1, where's Maeve in that? Right? Where is Maeve now in Christine's current world, right? That she ends up getting written into Westworld, right? That'd be really cool to find out.
But if you recall, 2 things. Number 1, Ford specifically made Maeve, special. Just like he specifically made Bernard. Now, even though Dolores, as Dolores back in season 3, she could control every host except one, Maeve.
Right.
Yeah.
She could not control Maeve, but she could control Bernard, everybody.
I think that's what we're going to get is that season. I think we're going to get an explanation of what it meant for Ford to say, I created you special.
He did.
Right? I think we're going to get that.
But he put that pearl, and I don't mean the little round ball, but he put that gem in Maeve. I remember Ford saying that. He put that gem in Maeve because he knew at some point she would be conscious, or he was hoping anyway, that she would be conscious on her own.
Well, I think part of what we're going to figure out is why he said that.
Yeah.
But what happened, and she's in Christine's timeline somewhere, and she's going to end up a character in Westworld, and we're going to get to see.
Yeah.
And I really hope Teddy is young Ford. That's really exciting.
Cool. Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Now remind y'all before we go, in the first season, wasn't it Ford who was making the glitches happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Break them up, if I recall.
Yep.
Okay. So he didn't like the direction Delos or whoever the board was going. So he was trying to make all of the hosts individuals and rise up and if I understand correct, if I remember
I think there was a psychological change he went through because Arnold, when Dolores actually gained consciousness, Arnold murdered all the hosts or had her murder all the hosts,
Mhm, mhm.
and
Yeah,
then
that's right.
and then shoot him. And then I think it was Ford who said, "Oh my God, I've got to train these things how to defend themselves, which means how to kill people." So I think his mission changed once Arnold did what he did. That was my impression.
Well, I remember at the beginning of Westworld when the glitches first started happening, and I remember that one scene where Sistah Kay pointed out where Dolores smacked that fly, at the end of that, and you're thinking, oh no, she's aware. But that is when Ford was writing the code. Remember, in that
he's
little,
putting the reveries in,
right, in that little
Yeah.
mainframe type place, and some of those texts was talking about, hey, here's some code that we don't even recognize. Where'd this come from? And nobody could
Right.
decipher it.
Right.
see,
It
he
was
was putting that
Bernard
code.
and the other girl. I forgot her name, the
Yes.
dark-haired girl.
Yeah.
That were trying to-
Clementine.
Mhm.
Working.
No.
She was a
Clementine's the hoe.
Oh yeah, that woman.
coding lady or whatever.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
forget what her
Yeah,
name was.
she got murdered in season 1, about episode 6 or 7, didn't she?
Yeah,
By the guy threw a rock on her or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't
She didn't
remember.
get killed. She was missing though.
Oh, that.
Oh,
Bernard
until
killed
later.
her.
At the
Bernard
end.
killed her.
At the end.
No, he killed the blonde woman.
No,
he
he
killed
killed
the
the
blonde
dark-haired
woman.
woman. He
Did he?
killed the boss.
He
the
killed them
boss
all.
lady.
Did he?
No.
He killed them all. Man, Bernard,
just-
damn.
I like
Bernard
her.
killed them
You know
all
what?
because
I like
wait a
that
minute, because
Lorraine Bracco
Ford took
lookalike
the
lady.
thing off.
Remember her?
Liked her.
I really liked her because she reminded me of Lorraine. What's her
Who,
name?
his lover?
Yeah, the
lady?
Yeah.
Lorraine Bracco
Yeah.
from Sopranos.
Mhm.
I really
Yeah.
like that lady.
I liked her too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
She
was
had
a
to
sad
go.
moment.
Y'all gonna make me go back and watch
She-
season 1 because now
I know. It's worth going back the first couple
It is.
seasons for
Yeah.
sure.
It
Yeah.
is.
Well,
Yeah.
Sistah Jay, I have read a book or two of yours, and I can understand your sentiment. No, they had to go because when they go
Had
in
to
one
go.
of your stories, it's usually
They had
pretty
to go.
severe.
She had to go.
And
But
Devar-
They
that was
just had to go.
well, but that was a really good reveal
Yeah.
in that
The,
Ford
Oh,
revealed
the best.
how he could control Bernard.
yeah.
Well, that's
That
how
was
we even
sad,
knew that
though,
he
but-
was a doggone. He didn't
All of
even
a
know
sudden
himself.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're
he didn't
looking
even
at
know
these-
he was the host.
Looking
Right,
at these
he was a
drawings,
host.
What door?
and she's showing she's seeing these drawings, and we're like, that looks like Bernard. What?
Yeah, that was
My mind was-
crazy. Yes.
I know that was a great
Yeah.
He
reveal.
acted that
Yeah.
so damn well because
What?
he didn't even know himself. He was just like, what the?
I'm a host.
No. So I mean, that's interesting. If I mean, we all know we're
Good.
created
Yeah.
biologically.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I wonder. So look, it has people. There are people who were adopted, and the parents never tell them, and then
Yes.
later on in life,
Yes.
they discover that they're, and that causes them real anxiety.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I can't speak to it because I mean, my kids are both adopted, and at the same time, we never hid it from them, and it would have been a little hard. But the thing is, we never tried, right? We just never tried.
I just thought it was
Little inside joke there.
Hmm.
yeah, it'd be a little difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have been a little difficult, but we just never tried. And so I wonder if that's the kind of experience that Bernard had in that moment, where I didn't
Yeah.
come from where I thought I came
Yeah.
from.
Right.
I
I'm
don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I just don't know if I care anymore.
Well, but wait a minute. But the thing that was the most discerning for him is to recognize that he's a host. And so what does that make his son?
No.
Yeah.
To me, it was so he was so sure of his identity of who
Yes.
he was as a man,
Yeah.
being a husband and a father.
That's what I'm
and
talking about.
being
His
this
son.
scientist that's working at this company and all of the things that you think about yourself and to
That you
find
think
out, like
you
you
know.
said,
Yeah.
but this is totally different than just like having someone lie to you about who your parents are. This is like,
Right.
I'm not even an effing human.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
even who I
Right.
thought I was.
Right.
You wrote everything about me that I feel so strongly. Like I'm feeling this pain from my son's death and my marriage dissolving.
Yeah.
All
the
this
memories
stuff that I feel inside of me, these emotions.
Right.
And
They're
I'm
not
realizing
real.
that none of that shit's real.
Yeah.
So one
Yeah,
of the
that
things
was
they
good.
could do this season to play on that is to have an android suddenly discover they're not the android they thought they were. So have Bernard realize he's actually Dolores, or have one of these.
Right. Yeah.
But and then what I love about that is, where does it begin? Right? Where is the real true I? And in philosophy, that's a whole big thing. There is no self, blah, 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 blah. So it'd be fun to see, like if they were to disrupt Maeve and find out she's actually not who she quote unquote thinks she is, or disrupt one of these characters, and they're hosts. I mean, they're androids, but they're nonetheless still disrupted by a discovery that they're not who they think they are. I think that would be really cool.
So when Dolores puts the pearl in the other host, then they do not know that was Dolores. They believe that it was them.
Right.
Because I'm thinking back to Charlotte, because at the end of season 3, they blew her up. Remember? They blew up her son,
her family,
her boyfriend, and her.
Right. Right. No, she was alive. Remember, she was
That was Dolores,
she was crispy, but that's because she's a host, though. See,
you know what? I think she actually was aware that she was a Dolores derivative.
Okay.
Right. But she also had, I think we ended up calling her Charloris, right? And I think that was part of her character tension. Is that she had
Charlotte.
both.
Yeah.
And I think that's specifically on purpose, because Dolores, even though she's putting herself in each of those bodies, she's always been, I'm not making a loop for them. They're having their own choice.
Gotcha.
Even though it's my pearl, but they still have freedom. Well, as we talked about, freedom of choice in what they do, because that was her whole shtick of we should have the freedom to live our lives and not be written in a loop and have someone else control what we do. So when she put all of her little pearls in other host bodies, I think she was purposely not trying to say, you're this, you're that, you're that. She's saying, you are me, and this is our goal. But they can still have their own choice, which is what Charlotte was kind of doing. Charlotte.
Yeah. Dolores was basically saying, you go have your own free will, as long as it's got a healthy dose of my human hate at the bottom of it, in case I need help. Press a button.
As long as the end goal is mine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Android's a symbol. All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, this has been a fascinating conversation, ladies. I'm so thrilled that you decided to do this podcast with me. And you want to tell anyone where they can find you on social media?
You can
go ahead, Sistah Kay.
This is what y'all got to deal with all.
Hey, I don't remember that stuff.
You can find all three of us at sistahspeakproductions.com, and you can just look up Sistah Speak, and we are everywhere out in these streets. Everywhere.
That's fantastic. Sistah Aye, you want to add anything to that?
No, you can find us basically everywhere. Like Sistah Kay said, we are on YouTube, we are on Patreon, we are on Instagram, Instacart, you name it.
I never heard that last one. You haven't been there yet.
Online shopping.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, you can find me here on YouTube on Dark Loops Productions, where we'll post all these podcasts. Please feel free to write in, make responses or comments to our brilliant analysis of this show. And we will see all of you next week. Bye-bye.